Okay, so welcome to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Deckers, for your invitation and the chance to present here a little bit of myself, our company, and mainly to discuss about the eKanBan in the logistics supply chain. My name is Onur Yildiz. I'm in the sales team here at Kathrein Solutions. In daily business, mainly I'm responsible for the automotive sector. And I prepared for today together with my colleague, Mr. Schnebinger. Christian is our deputy sales officer, and he is mainly driving our ITS, Intelligent Transport Systems business globally. But we are very or highly involved in the eKanBan things in our projects, and we prepared for today, hoping to give you a lot of insight and to answer all your questions at the end. Maybe first some words about our company. I'm not sure how far everyone knows or does not know Kathrein Solutions. So we are a company of about 50 people in Germany. We have our headquarters close to Munich in southern Germany, and we have a production site close to Berlin in northeastern Germany. And our portfolio is covering a quite big set of hardware with RFID readers, antennas in the passive UHF RFID. And we also have some hardware in the active RTLS, a real-time localization, where we can do active tracking of assets. And we also do a lot of special transponders. So we supply standard transponders, but when it's about special transponder development in special use cases or niche markets, we have a team of developers, and we also design and supply transponders. We have a IoT software in-house. Our software is called Crosstalk, is very well known on the market globally. In big projects in automotive and production industries, I think we're kind of a standard in a lot of big companies, meanwhile, in Europe mainly. We have a big professional services team here in-house in Stephanskirchen and all over Europe. Our colleagues doing the planning, doing consulting of RFID projects. We have the project management here in-house. We support implementation. We do that by ourselves, but we also love to work with partners in that sector globally. We have a strong partner network, and we have fantastic companies on board who do the services for their projects and customers, and we love to support them. And when it comes to support, we ourselves, we support our projects and customers on-site and remotely. We can do any kind of trainings when it is about hardware and software. We also do some process. Meanwhile, in the UHF sector, we do also project management trainings. So this is a big part of our business to grow also our partners and support our partners and customers. And for sure, as a big company, we also do some 24/7 maintenance services. So when we think about what we're doing, there are different solutions for different markets, as also for different use cases. The main things maybe to mention to understand where does the Kathrein knowledge and experience go to is when we think about warehouses, so ingoing, incoming, outgoing on the dock door, or assembly line situations where assets has to be tracked on which position, on which assembly status are my goods or my assets. Then we have some RTLS solutions where we can do localization with passive RFID, but display that through our software, and also with active RFID to do real-time localization, RTLS, and asset tracking, returnable asset tracking, RTI, Then we have projects in the railway logistics where we can track parts of wagons or full trains or wagons in the warehouses, in the parking places, and in the maintenance. Then we have some forklift solutions for different industries. Then we do vehicle logistics. This is maybe divided in two parts. So we do vehicle logistics in a lot of OEM plants all over the globe, means during the production process, and we do also some vehicle logistics in parking places or on the road, and it's about tolling or bridges, exit entries, costs, and so on. Then we do a lot of Kanban things. We have very big Kanban projects ongoing. That was the decision for the session today to go for Kanban, because we see that in the industry, RFID and UHF passive is a very big topic when it's about material flow, and Kanban is one of the best ways to cover with RFID. And then we also do some baggage tracking, and we support airports in baggage tracking. This is a big topic in the market, but unfortunately 2020, I think everyone knows how the market was affected by the COVID-19 situation. So this part of the business was very small and slow this year, but we are doing that also. So today's topics, Kanban. I think almost everyone knows what Kanban is here in the group and in the audience, but just a quick overview. Mainly it's about the material flow and in logistic, internal logistic, and in supply chain. So what happens, there is a warehouse, a supermarket, where the material is stored. There is a milk runner who brings the material from the warehouse or from the supermarket to the shelves, and then the material is used during the production or during the working position, and then you need new material. Information has to go back, flow back to the warehouse, and someone has to bring then new material. So the inventor or the main person to mention when it's about process or processes in general in automotive, let me say, Mr. Taiichi Ohno. He invented the Kanban at Toyota. I think he was very, very active and driving in years before 1980. And he did a lot for Kanban, also the Kaizen system. I think you can say he's one of the fathers of automotive production processes. So where did the problem come from? So in serial production and in a high volume production for precise or demanding goods, understand that the material flow is a very big influencer when it's about time and quality. So the problem is that time and quality costs a lot of money, is a big cost driver, and the first idea to do the solution with Kanban, and then for a long time, for a long period of time, this was done with specific Kanban boards, routing cards. They have been installed in the worker's position, so information about material status was written on the boards, and then someone had to collect the boards, bring them to the warehouse, collect the goods, and bring then new goods to the working positions. The runtime of this information back to the warehouse, and then runtime also of new material to the working place was very slow. And then we understood, or the market step by step understood, that optimization is necessary here on that point. And then people tried to find new ways to make things faster and more reliable. So the solution is to bring eKanBan on place. So we do that with UHF RFID. I will show some hardware and the solution later on in the next slides. So to make the things faster, to make the information flow faster and more reliable, and then at the same time to reduce the material stock, an automated eKanBan system from our or with our hardware is the way how we solve this problem. So quick overview about the hardware we install and the functionality. So we have an antenna reader. So we have an ARU2400 reader with an integrated antenna. And we have the smart shelf antenna, which is a very precise reading UHF antenna. And we have the crosstalk software, as mentioned before, as our IoT software platform to process the data. So we install the smart shelf antennas. When you look in the middle of this slide, in the green section, so we install the smart shelf antennas in every section of the eKanBan rack. And those antennas are connected to the reader, which is the blue one on the side of the rack. And then with these antennas, we enable the system to read the UHF transponders, which are on the KLT boxes or on the material carriers. So on the right side, the red balloon shows us the reading area of the antenna. The Kathrein Smart Shelf antenna is designed to have a very clear and a very defined reading area. So you can say the size of the antenna is 30 by 30, and the reading area will then also be more or less exactly 30 by 30 and up to adjustable up to 0.5 meter or lower to have a very clear reading rate. So the antennas side by side, they do not disturb each other, and you exactly know which antenna is reading on which level and which lane of the eKanBan rack. So implementing RFID in general, so most of you might know that already, is a cost topic when it comes to the readers. So the readers are the more expensive part of an RFID system. The antennas are more the cheaper parts of the system. So what did we at Kathrein do to solve that problem for eKanBan installations where you have a lot of single read points to collect the right data at the right place? And when you think about an RFID reader with 4 antenna ports, and then you'd start to install a eKanBan rack with more than 20, 30 KLT boxes at the same time, then you must think about to solve the reader cost topic. So what we did here is that we developed the Kathrein RFID antenna interface, which is called CRY. CRY allows us to build a daisy chain on each single antenna port and to connect 8 smart shelf antennas. These antennas are also specially developed to support the Kathrein CRY interface. And with that solution, you can connect 8 antennas per port, means with one single reader, you can install up to 32 antennas in one rack, which is a cost reduction of about 60%. For sure, the reading period and the timing is an issue. So you might say that you will lose time when you have 8 antennas per one port to connect to every single antenna. But in this solution with the CRY protocol and the daisy chain setup of the antennas, we can reach reading times below 3.5 seconds for all of the 32 antennas. So we read one antenna in about 0.1 second. So the reading time in this static process where the KLTs are not moving and not moving fast, even when they are moved by the worker himself, is the process itself is very static and slow. And therefore we have very reliable quick reading time of about 3.5 seconds for the full rack. So then we have the data communication topic. So the data is immediately sent to an ERP system or the backend system. And for that, we also had to ensure that the data to processing is able in the daisy chain in a very, very quick time and very reliable. So we designed the antenna structure and positions and the position on the reader. So to have about 3 meter feeder cable, and then we have a 0.5 meter, so half a meter jumper cable between the antennas. So we have a total length of each daisy chain of 9.4 meters. And the maximum number of installed antennas, as told before, is 32. So at the end, when we go to the very last antenna and we sum up all the data communicated by the reader, still we have a very reliable system and we can still secure the expected read times. So the system of the eKanBan itself, the full solution, how does it work and which components do we have? So we have a business logic. You have a leading ERP system. So it means you have a material system or you have a logistics system or whichever ERP you use in your facility or your process. Then we have a standardization layer. So we have the crosstalk IoT suite. We can use that as a data interface to your ERP system. It's very mature software. It's on the market since almost 13 years, and we have it in use in very big eKanBan installations with more than hundreds of eKanBan racks and thousands of antennas and readers. And it is very easy to be implemented. It's a kind of a plug-and-play integration. So with a very small training for your teams or a very small invest in efforts in our team, the software can be implemented. It can manage raw data as events. So even the high number of collected data and the complex processes with a big hardware infrastructure can be broken down in single events, which are defined by your process, and the management layer, the crosstalks IoT suite in the data management layer creates defined events and gives only those events as a notice or information to your ERP system. We also have a device management in crosstalk. Means that installing crosstalk, you will not only have a tool to process and to manage the data. You also have a management tool for your full device hardware infrastructure. So in maintaining the hardware, like maintenance changes, implementing new readers, or changing antenna positions, or changing setups can easily be done in the IoT suite. So this is the next point when it comes to configuration of your hardware. So any change in the hardware settings and any physical change of hardware when a reader is broken or when you enlarge the infrastructure and you add new hardware, this can easily be implemented in the with the crosstalk. And then the last topic here in the list, connection of various Auto ID hardware, brings us to the physical layer. So you are able to connect any kind of RFID hardware from the market into the crosstalk software, but the software is also prepared for other IoT devices, so you can also implement barcode readers, you can implement sensors, and this can all be all devices from various suppliers and labels. So even the RFID hardware from other suppliers, as also the printers, handhelds, and light sensors, or any kind of different sensoric can be connected to our readers through GPIO, but also can be processed in our crosstalk software. So why do we do so many different things to eKanBan and to bring eKanBan into the supermarkets and warehouses of our customers? So the biggest advantages of this is that you can reduce your stock, you can secure highly secure material availability, you can reduce the material turnover. So as we said in the very beginning, timing or time and process time is a very high cost driver. This can be reduced in using eKanBan racks. You can reduce the storage space for sure. So as soon as you reduce the time and you control the volumes, your storage space will get lower and lower. You can work with fixed lot sizes, and especially you can work with smaller lot sizes because the process is faster and more reliable than a kind of a handmade process with carts. Then you have no overproduction, or you can reduce overproduction because of the same points. So the quality of the process is very high and reliable, and you do not have to be prepared for mistakes or timeouts and so on. So there is no overproduction needed. Then short delivery time, so one comes to the next, again the same point. So the production time is short, the delivery time at the same time is very short for sure. Then at the same time you have then the faster throughput times. Additional advantages, so beside process timing and material flow and all those things, so what does eKanBan bring on top? You have a hand-free data collection, means you have no interaction of the workers. This again is on one hand a topic for faster process and a more reliable process quality. There is no interaction needed, means the worker is not in a situation that he can do human mistakes. If mistakes happen, then you know that there must be a problem in the system, but usually as long as you control the system, and with the IoT platform software you have a very good control of our system, then you can more or less be sure there will be no mistakes in the process itself. Then another big profit or another big advantage is that the system is retrofit. So you can install our antennas and the reader also very easily in existing shelves and in existing Kanban racks. So when you decide for an eKanBan, the only invest you have to take in consideration is the RFID part itself, including hardware and implementation, but you do not have to think about a new fully equipped supermarket or new shelves. Then the cost down via daisy chain concept of the Kathrein system and smart shelf antennas. I think this is very easy to understand as long as you look on the number of readers you need and number of antennas. In a normal system, even with the highest equipped devices on the market, you have maybe 8, maximum let it be 16 connectors where you can go to one reader, and with the Kathrein system you can run a very reliable system implementation with 32 antennas with only one reader. And our hardware itself in general, so not only the ARU2400 and our smart shelf antenna, but our antennas products in general are very robust against the harsh environment and metal. So the system is industry proven, it's IP67 protected mainly, or at least 65 depending on the installation. And it's a proven concept and can be used in almost any environment. And then, as I have shown in the last slide, our crosstalk software, it's very easy to integrate. It's cooperating with any existing ERP system like SAP and all the other big players on the market. And it's already implemented in various systems all over the world in different industries connected to different systems. So you see the Kanban itself and our eKanBan system with other Kathrein products. It's a very interesting thing to have a look on and maybe to test if you do not already use it. And we are happy to support that. And in general, we are very happy to give information about the system and the usage of Kanban. So thank you for your time and patience, and I hope it was interesting enough to have questions now on that topics. So,
yeah, Mr. Yildiz, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I will ask Christian also to join me for the questions. So if it's too much, then maybe we can work together.
Hey, gentlemen.
Here.
Yes,
Also
hello. So yeah, we have some questions here. The first one is, can you also read tagged items in the boxes instead of just the containers?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry?
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can track items in the box when it's within the physical limits. So you know that, or most of you might know that metals and liquids are a kind of a barrier for the RFID UHF frequencies. But for sure, you can read the transponder on the KLT boxes and the carriers, and then within the system, the material inside the box and the carrier is connected or will be connected to the information on the box transponder. And then in the system, you will see what is in every individual box. But as long as there is no physical influence of the material of the goods, you can also read into the boxes. The one limit we see is that, especially in automotive, a lot of the KLT boxes are made of ESD material. And then you again have the physical effect of metals and carbon particles in the plastic. So also in this situation, it might be difficult to read into the box.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. And here is the next question. How do you select the best RFID tag?
It's a matter of, it depends, I would say, as always in RFID. No, definitely, it's as Onur already mentioned, first of all, it depends on the RTI, so really on the box, what you use. Is it the ESD box? So we have to talk about on metal working transponders. If we are talking about standard plastic crates, it can be just a standard label. At the end, when we already talking about, like the question before, on material inside the KLT, it's a complete other story. So this is use case by use case different, and this is what our consultants as well as our partners all over the world are experts in, to really support the end customers in finding the right tag. So this is really what we see is a service. So it's typically not a tag decision should be not from shelf. From our point of view, it must be really a good argument, and you have to take the full picture on the project, and this is from our point of view very important.
Okay. Yeah, and one next question here is, what is the antenna coverage per square meter in dense metal objects like car mechanical part shelves?
I think this question is not to be answered as with a standard answer. That this must be tested, because it is really highly affected on the environment, on the design of the shelf, and so on. But in general, you can say, like I showed in one of the slides of this when we were talking about the antenna itself. In general, you can say the antenna has a size of 30 by 30, and the antenna beam will be about 30 by 30, and then in a height of, it can be less than 50 centimeters. When I think about shelf distance and the boxes, size of the common use boxes in the industry, I think a height of 20 to maximum 50 centimeters would be reasonable. So then you can say, if you need a general answer on that question, you can say it's about 30 by 30 by 30, kind of a square.
But also with the high-end antenna, we are even higher. So as already mentioned, it depends a bit, but typically, so the antenna is so sharp that we have really this 30 by 30 centimeters also directly over the antenna. So we have not the angle or a beam like we know it from a 70 degrees antenna or something like that. So this is really not the case. This is a special made antenna for that solutions, and we have really then 33 or 35 by 35, but really in a range of roughly 30 centimeters, as we saw in the measurement in our test chamber before. So this is really accurate. But for sure, anyways, it's automotive industry, it's hard, heavy duty industry. There's always a lot of metal in the field, so everything must be tested from our point of view. But as we saw from our experience, from our knowledge, and from our done projects, we can really rely on that 30 by 30 centimeters. So this is extremely accurate in the reading performance.
But the maximum limit, if you think about this, the maximum limit of the antenna is a beam height of about 3 meters. So, but I mean, in the eKanBan solution, in the eKanBan rack, it's more interesting to know how low can I go with the beam height more than how high. But technically, it can be between 0 and maximum 3 meters.
Okay. Yeah, there are some more questions, but to give the other speakers the chance to present their lectures, I'd like to ask you, will you stay until the end of the forum with us? So we can address them later to you, so they don't get lost, the questions. But as mentioned before, Kathrein is also at the virtual event where you can find all the contact details of the colleagues there. But I will address the question a little later to you. Okay?
But maybe let me just answer one of the questions to the presentation before. Yes, you're welcome to visit us also on our site here in Stephanskirchen anytime. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
So, yeah, as we have here a very international audience, the first question I received here is: are your readers and antennas made in Germany?
Yes, we produce the hardware in Germany. We have a production site in northern Germany. Some components we supply from global companies, that's clear, but development and production is in Germany.
Okay. And the next question is, can I use the eKanBan for item picking applications?
I think this is something we should discuss in detail. Maybe you can share my contact with the participant, and please come directly.
That's, I think in those detailed questions, always a good info to get in contact directly. Same maybe for the next question we received here: what solutions do you have for high temperature applications? Because that's another or a different field, right?
Yes, this also is a little bit complex to answer in that group, but I would recommend maybe to have a quick look on our webpage on the data sheets to see the temperature range of our products, the running temperature range, and then we can also go into detail with direct contact.
Okay.